I'm Richard Lewis. I'm the Senior Vice President Sales for Evolving Systems, which is a long-established company that has offices around the world and customers around the world. Mainly, we deal with mobile network operators and also with MVNOs. And they are literally, in over 100 countries in the world. Now, the reason that we started working with predictable marketing is that towards the end of 2019, it was very clear to us that COVID was going to have a massive impact on our business, really at all levels, but I'm responsible for sales, so that was the area I was most concerned about. So historically, we would have salespeople in various regions who would engage directly both with customers and prospects, and it was obvious that they weren't going to be able to travel. And anyway, we'd felt that we needed to boost our presence in the world through digital marketing techniques. So we entered into a strategic discussion with predictable marketing about how we could actually grow the amount of interest that the world showed in the solutions that we could offer, increase in particular our website visitors, increase the inquiries we generated from that website, and other digital marketing techniques that we could apply to try to grow essentially the number of inquiries, the number of leads, the number of prospects, and ultimately the new business that we were able to secure. So having contracted predictable marketing, I have to say that the results really exceeded our hopes and expectations. So the website was obviously the key to a lot of it. We needed people to visit what effectively is our online shop so that they could understand the solutions that we could offer. But that wouldn't be any prospect. It would need to be a mobile operator, to keep it simple, that was looking for the solutions that Evolving Systems has such a strong record of delivering. So, to get people to visit the website, predictable marketing gave us a range of, let's call it, techniques and approaches. And without being specific, all I can tell you is that the number of interested parties that visit our website now is factor 5 times the number of people who visited our website at the end of 2019. So that's been a huge success. And from the visits and from the information that they received, we also created, or predictable marketing created, the means for them to inquire further. And that was through being able to either send us an inquiry or download some piece of information. It might be about the solution or a white paper about thought leadership. And from that, the number of inquiries that we were generating began to rise exponentially. So now we've created more interest, we're able to effectively capture that interest and then follow it up. Now, not all interest is equal. So the Nitika and her team that was assigned to her from Evolving Systems would do a great deal of qualification or pre-qualification of those inquiries, so that the salespeople would actually only receive inquiries that were relevant from qualified parties. And that obviously, we used a variety of tools in all of this, HubSpot being one, Pipedrive was another, corporate tools that we had available to us. And as a consequence, we were able to pass through to the new business sales team inquiries that at least were qualified sufficiently to start a conversation. The overall outcome, without being specific, is that the amount of new business that we were able to generate through that pipeline increased in both value and number terms. So it was a very successful program which lasted for 2 years. I think one of the keys, what I would call as a critical success factor, was the connection between digital marketing and demand generation and the sales team itself. So it wasn't a question of leads being generated that were thrown over a wall to salespeople. We worked as one team from the very beginning of the creation of interest through to the end, which was the sale to a new customer, which is fundamentally the objective that I carry in the company. So I would say that throughout it all, the professionalism that was shown by predictable marketing was fabulous. They engaged with the individual salespeople, all learned to see predictable marketing and Nitika and her team as an extension to the sales team, not some esoteric group sat over in an office somewhere that did marketing and didn't actually necessarily generate what the salespeople wanted. So every single campaign that we ran digitally was agreed with the individual regional sales heads, which was also important because every region has its own culture, its own way of doing business. And so it was important to understand the differences between the regions as much as the similarities. So overall, it was a hugely successful program. I would say as a senior salesperson, been around for a long time, to actually achieve our objectives, which were really to be able to continue to generate new business in a very disrupted world where my salespeople couldn't travel and neither could the customers travel, that this was the right solution for the times. But not only for those times, it's the right solution for the future forward. So even as we begin to more freely travel, it's still crucially important that we've generated qualified prospects that a salesperson can then engage with. So for me, predictable marketing delivered exactly what they promised, and that marketing was predictable, so that we could always know what was coming through, at the very top of the funnel, and we could plan accordingly. So I, for one, have really enjoyed working with predictable marketing. I think that they fulfill their promise, which is so important in business these days. So I would like to thank Predictable Marketing for the contribution they made to the business of evolving systems in 2020 and 2021 in particular.